Dear friends, welcome to another thrilling episode of The Informant Military. Today we dive into a breaking development, Ukraine's audacious incursion into the Russian Oblast of Kursk, seizing villages and part of a city in what has become Ukraine's most significant advance into Russian territory since Russia's 2022 invasion. But what is Ukraine's true objective with this bold move? If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. On Tuesday, August 6th, approximately 1,000 Ukrainian soldiers, supported by 20 combat vehicles and at least 11 armored units, crossed into the Russian region of Kursk from Ukraine. Their forces swiftly attacked and destroyed several Russian border posts, advancing rapidly along two main axes, toward Guyevo, via the suburbs of Sudzha, and toward Lyubimovka, through Obukovka. The fluid nature of the conflict and the quick troop movements make it challenging to pinpoint the exact number of villages and towns occupied by Ukrainian forces, though sources report that at least a dozen Russian localities have fallen within the Ukrainian advance zone. According to the governor of the Kursk Oblast, Alexei Smirnov, hundreds of people have been evacuated from areas near the Ukrainian border, and Moscow has declared a state of emergency in the region to expedite the military response. Videos and images circulating online show Ukrainian vehicles on Russian roads, with explosions seen as far as 12 kilometers from the Ukrainian border, confirming reports from local sources. Numerous videos also depict Russian soldiers surrendering in the face of the Ukrainian advance. On Wednesday, August 7th, during an extraordinary session of Russia's Security Council, Vladimir Putin accused Ukraine of provocation and declared that containing the Ukrainian advance was his top priority. Valery Gerasimov, chief of the Russian General Staff, assured Putin that Russian forces in Kursk had managed to halt the Ukrainian invasion, but he provided no details on the current positions of Ukrainian forces within Kursk. By Thursday, August 8th, updated maps indicated changes on the ground, with various reports suggesting a northward advance through Malaya Lokhnya, confirming the breach of two major defensive lines that Russia had been fortifying since 2022. However, there is still no official information on the exact locations of Russian and Ukrainian forces within Kursk. But what exactly is Ukraine aiming to achieve with this invasion? Is Kyiv genuinely attempting to annex portions of Russian territory? It's crucial to note that this is not the first time Ukrainian forces have entered Russia. Since February 2022, there have been at least 3 major incursions, all led by pro-Ukrainian and anti-Putin Russian forces, such as the Russian Volunteer Corps, formed in August 2022 by ex-Russian military personnel opposed to Vladimir Putin's regime. This group participated in assaults on Russia's Bryansk Oblast in March 2023 and Belgorod in May of the same year, actions that also involved another Russian unit, the Legion for the Freedom of Russia. Now in 2024, these units have resumed their attacks on Russia, spreading across a broader area that includes Belgorod, Kursk, and regions in Kharkiv still under Russian occupation. The assaults took place between March and April, featuring a new Russian unit, the Siberian Battalion, bringing the total number of pro-Ukrainian Russian battalion-level units fighting alongside Kyiv to 3. While it's unclear which specific units are involved in the current assault on the Kursk Oblast, which began on August 6th, it's highly likely that these Russian units are participating, possibly reinforced by Chechen, Polish, and Georgian units. The objective of these 3 major assaults, including the current one, is not to annex Russian territory. After all, doing so would require weakening the multiple defensive fronts that are currently active in Ukraine. The goal, it appears, is to provoke Russia and force Putin to shift his focus, withdrawing forces and weakening other sectors in Ukraine to reinforce areas within Russia. Any military action involving the invasion of Russian territory is, as you can imagine, capable of spreading fury throughout the Kremlin. Moreover, there is the risk of losing strategically positioned weapons and ammunition depots along the Ukrainian border. The entry of soldiers and armored vehicles into Russia from Ukraine is seen as a significant humiliation for Putin and his much-touted second-largest military power in the world, as it has proven unable to effectively protect its borders. Putin also shows the world that he lacks reserve forces, implying that most of what he has militarily is currently tied up in Ukraine, with what remains insufficient even to prevent the entry of a handful of vehicles and armored units. Therefore, Ukraine does not have a grand strategic objective with these assaults. The Ukrainians do not intend to conquer, occupy and maintain control over villages and towns within Russia. What they seek is to provoke and irritate Putin, forcing him to weaken active sectors in Ukraine to reinforce Russia's interior and demonstrate to the world that the Russian military forces are almost entirely focused on the invasion, leaving very little for essential tasks such as border defense. This suggests that just like in the previous assaults on Belgorod, Bryansk, and Kharkiv, the current assault in Kursk is likely to last for just a few more days, just long enough for Putin to withdraw forces from his invasion and send them to the area under assault, weakening certain sectors and making the defensive work of Ukrainian forces on the ground easier. Stay tuned for more updates, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for the latest analyses and insights on the world's most pressing geopolitical issues.
В настоящее время подразделения группировки «Север» совместно с пограничными органами ФСБ России продолжают